Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to go over the Keurig K-Select and do a detailed review. This is the K-Select. Now this machine is not available at Walmart. I had to get this off of Amazon. This is the black color. It cost around $110. It's Amazon's #5 best-selling coffee maker. Now, my biggest question was, what's the difference between this and the K Classic? The K Classic is sold on Amazon and at Walmart for $80. So about $30 cheaper. So the biggest difference is this K Select has strong brew and one more ounce, has a 12-ounce setting. It's got the strong brew button, this one more setting up here, 12-ounce. This one's got a little bit bigger reservoir. And in my opinion, the K-Select looks a little bit better. It's got a little smaller footprint, and it comes in some really pretty colors, in my opinion. The K-Classic is, I've seen black and like a really red, and a few other colors that are out there, but these are kind of, the K-Select you can get in some really modern colors. So again, first impression of this is pretty much like a standard Keurig machine. You've got your K-cup basket here. You've got your needle up above. That's the single needle. It's going to pierce the top. It's got a power button. It's got an auto off feature. I'll show you how to disable that, but the unit does turn itself off after 2 hours. It does have a descale light. Let you know when it's time to descale. Add water light. Again, the strong brew, 12-ounce, 10-ounce, 6-ounce. Or 8-ounce, 6-ounce. You know, I wish they put the ounces on there, but that's what they are. I like the water reservoir. You can see it in the front. You know, again, these water reservoirs are a little awkward. This one's a little easier to hold. You know, pick it up and go fill it up. Sometimes it's easier just to kind of use something else to fill it up with. But it's got that little track it has to sit in. So the more expensive K Supreme's got a really nice reservoir with a big handle. But this one looks really nice. From the back, there's no cord storage. It's got a nice opening. Now, it may or may not come with that water filter. Some of these units do, some don't. You got to look at the description. But this is the water filter. It keeps a carbon water filter down there, and it'll filter the water before it goes into the machine. So one thing I've noticed with this, so the max line is right there. So if you use another container to fill this up, I've overfilled it because this is lower, because you're looking over here when you fill it up, and then it kind of pours out the front. So just be careful of that. So dimensions, it's about 11 inches front to back. I'd say about 7 inches side to side. So the unit's only about 12 inches tall, but with the handle, you know, it's about 17.5. It's going to fit real nice under a kitchen cabinet. So a kitchen cabinet's 19 inches. So it fits really good under a kitchen cabinet. So with the drip tray installed, it's about 6 inches. With the drip tray out, the manual says it can do 7.4 inches. Yeah, so we can do almost 7.5 inches with the drip tray out. You know, the drip tray is pretty plasticky feeling, but it is, you know, you can wash it up. The drip tray kind of snaps in a little bit, but it is sort of loose. So overall, it has a big footprint. I mean, they make some K minis that definitely are skinny and have a lot smaller footprint, but this one looks really well. The looks really good. And the cord's about 2 feet, and it's a 3-prong cord, so make sure you got a 3-prong outlet. So one of the first things you'll notice is when you first plug it in and turn it on, it does take about 3 minutes to warm up. And the unit is pretty loud when it's boiling that water. Now, it's not extremely loud, but it does make some noise when because there's a tank inside here. It's holding some water and it's boiling it. So you can hear kind of that water inside there boiling, and it is kind of loud. But then once it gets that water up to temperature, then it's nice and quiet. And when it's brewing, it's not super loud. But at the end of the brew, it has to heat that water up again back here. So it is kind of loud again. Okay, so let's brew a K-cup. Again, this takes any standard Keurig K-cup. They don't necessarily have to be made by Keurig. A lot of them are, but Walmart makes K-Cups, and it's got a foil on the top, and then it's going to pierce the bottom. So let's turn the unit on first. So once we lift the handle, it's going to activate it. We're going to lift the handle. Now there's a needle at the bottom and a needle at the top. Let the machine do all the work. We're just going to set the K-Cup in here. And when I close the handle, it's going to pierce the top and the bottom. Here's a K-Cup. So there's what it does. It pierces the top, and then it pierces the bottom. So now by lifting the handle, once the water is up to temperature, these blue lights are going to flash. So when you first turn it on, these blue lights may not be flashing. If I want to do a strong brew, I'm going to select strong brew before I select these. Again, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now, I've done a lot of taste tests with K-Cups, and compared to a regular coffee maker, 8 ounce is really nice for me. I think the 8 ounce K-Cup tastes really good. Now, sometimes you can read on the back of these, they kind of tell you what to brew them at, but a lot of times they don't tell you what to brew them at. And that's what makes the Keurig nice. So say you like the taste at a 6 ounce. It's going to run 6 ounces of water through that K-Cup. And if that tastes good to you, then use 6 ounces. It's just not much water or coffee. Try the 8 ounce. If the 8 ounce works, then stick with the 8 ounce. The 10 ounce to me is a little weak, but a 10 ounce through a K-Cup might be perfect for you. And so that's what's nice about these different settings, is it lets you decide. The 12 ounce is just a little too weak for me. To me, that's more like for the teas. Now, I don't recommend running like doing a double brew through a K-Cup. Just brew it one time, and then you got to recycle it or throw it away. So again, since it timed out, I got to reactivate it by lifting the handle. And I'm going to press the 8 ounce. And now it starts the brew process. Again, it's not really loud. You can hear sort of a pump running. I like that it doesn't drip. It's not splashing all over. It's a nice steady stream. Some of the cheaper machines that do K-Cups kind of splatter all over. Now, once it's done brewing, you're going to notice the machine's going to get pretty loud. It's going to heat up. It's going to heat the water up inside a tank inside here. It doesn't last super long. But some of the more expensive Keurig machines are not that loud. The K-Supreme Plus and the K-Supreme are not that loud. So then once it heats the water up, it's nice and quiet. Let's check the temperature. So that's pretty standard, about 160. It cools off really quick, so it's probably just a little bit warmer than that. Now again, this is really, really hot coffee. I'm not going to be able to do a really good taste test. I've tasted it in the past. Like I said, the 8 ounce setting tastes really good. It just doesn't give you a lot of coffee. So now let's talk cleanup. We're going to open up the K-Cup machine. Be careful, these can be hot. You're just going to lift it up. Check out my other video. I got videos on how to recycle these, but there's what it does. So I'm going to cut this K-Cup open. They're really intricate on the inside. I'm going to show you what the machine did. So here I cut the bottom off. You'll see there is a filter in here. It doesn't pierce the filter, and that's good. You want that filter. That filter prevents sediment. That's like a paper filter you would use in a normal coffee maker. So here I've got the top cut open. Again, these can be really hot, so be careful. There's 2 tablespoons of coffee in these K-Cups. And again, there's that paper filter that prevents sediment. And it does a really good job of brewing. So here's that exact same K-Cup before the brew. You can see the paper filter in there. This is one I haven't brewed yet. But you can see, so the coffee grounds get really saturated. This is the coffee grounds before the brew. So you can also get just hot water out of these. it says leave the K-cup, leave no K-cup here. Put your glass, but I'm going to show you, you want to do a rinse. So say you wanted to get some hot water for a tea or for a soup or something. I'm going to show you that if you just did a coffee and then you want hot water, I'm going to show you the water, you're going to have a little bit of aftertaste of the coffee in there. So do a rinse. This is called a freshwater rinse. I don't know if you can see or not, but that coffee's got a little tint to it, and it's going to taste like a little bit of coffee. So just do a freshwater rinse. I'll throw this water out, and then the next one you do should taste okay. Now the reason behind that is you do get just a little bit of residual coffee in this cup here from doing a coffee K-cup. So then I could do a fresh water and it would taste pretty good. So let's compare, let's do a strong brew. I'm going to get the same K-cup, Maxwell House. I'm going to put it in, close the handle. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hit strong first. Strong, 8 ounce. And it's going to take a little bit longer to brew the coffee. Again, in under a minute, you're going to have a cup of coffee, but it does take a little bit longer. It still brews it at the same temperature. You'll notice that the stream comes out just a little bit slower. That's how they extend the brew process. But again, I'm not getting a bunch of splashes around, so it's good that way. So it comes out at about 168 on the strong brew. So I'm not a coffee expert. People ask me all the time, does the strong brew taste different? Now, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Depending on the K-cup you're using, sometimes I can taste it a little stronger. Now, not necessarily more bitter, but maybe it might have a little bit more of a fuller taste. Again, I'm not a coffee expert. To me, it's very hard to tell the difference between these two. So I just wanted to verify the temperature. Yeah, I'm doing a normal brew. This is the strong brew, and it's brewed at the same 170 degrees. You can see the normal brew is the same temperature as what the strong brew came out. They just cool down so quick. So what's nice about these Keurig machines is the possibilities are kind of endless with K-cups. There are so many different types of manufacturers out there, so many different flavors. Again, coffee, you're only ever going to get about 2 tablespoons of coffee in a K-cup. So you're probably going to hover around the 6, 8, or 10. But they do sell K-cups that are teas. That's when you might use a little larger size. They sell hot chocolates. They sell cappuccinos. Now the cappuccinos and the lattes, it's just a powder inside the K-cup. So you do get sort of the taste, and they taste pretty good. It's just not like a true latte or cappuccino. So again, I brewed my coffee. The unit's going to stay on for 2 hours because the auto off light is on. Or I can just come up here and turn the machine off. But with that auto off light on, that means that auto off's going to work. If I want to keep the machine on, say somebody, I want to keep it on all day, I can turn this function off. I can make that light go out. Okay, so in order to get that auto off light to go off, first got to power the unit down. With power off, I'm going to hold the strong and the 10 ounce. The 10 ounce is this button here. It's the second one down. I'm going to hold those two for 3 seconds until the light went off. Now when I turn the unit on, that auto off light is off. That means this unit's going to stay on until I turn it off, which, it's going to consume power because it's going to keep that water tank inside there at a certain temperature. So now let's say you want the auto feature back on. You're just going to do the opposite. Turn it back off, hold the strong and the 10 ounce until the light comes on. The light's on. Now when I turn it on, the light's going to be on. Auto off is enabled. And real quick, this has a high altitude setting. So if you live in like Denver, a really high elevation, you can put this in high altitude mode. So in the way you do that, you're going to turn the unit off. You're going to hold the strong and the 8-ounce button. You're going to hold them for 3 seconds. Both lights will blink. That lets you know that it's in high altitude mode. And to turn it off of high altitude mode, you're going to do the same thing. Turn the unit off, hold these, and both lights will go out. That lets you know that you're not in high altitude mode. It comes from the factory, not in high altitude, for like standard elevation. So let's talk about the D-scale light. So the D-scale light's going to come on when this machine senses that your unit has got some hard water buildup on the heating element. It's letting you know, hey, I'm not working to the best of my performance. I need to be D-scaled. You know, and the best thing to do there is to buy one of these brew kits for $13, or you can buy just a solution for $6. I'm going to do a separate video on how to descale this unit. So I'm doing a big brew now. I'm going to show you the add water light's going to come on. Now, you're going to look at the unit and go, man, I got a bunch of water left in there still. So even when the water gets down to around here, your add water light's going to come on because it's saying, hey, I don't have enough to do my next brew. Even though you look over here and there seems to be some water in there, it's not going to run it completely dry. So my add water light just came on, it flashes. So even though I've got a little bit of water left in there, I still have to add water. Now I can add it all the way up to the max. I can just add a little bit to get the water light to go out. But I won't be able to do anything until I get that add water light. See, I can't do any kind of brews. So reasons to get the K-Select, the strong, if you like the strong brew, if you like the bigger size, those are some reasons to get this over the K-Classic. To me, the K-Select does look a little better. It's not as, it doesn't take up as big a footprint as the K-Classic. And the colors, like I said, you can get some really interesting colors with this K-Select. Again, I'm going to do a detail or a descale video on this. You can descale this with the Keurig solution, and you can also descale it with vinegar. I'm also going to do a video on how to clean the needles. So if your machine is not working, it could be just as simple as a clogged needle. I'm going to show you how to take the needles out and clean them. And I'm also going to do a separate video on how to use a reusable K-Cup. Keurig sells one. Perfect Pod sells one. I'm going to show you how to use a reusable K-Cup in these machines. You can use your own coffee grounds and save a little bit of money. So K-Cups are about 50 cents. Using a reusable K-Cup takes about 20 to 25 cents of coffee grounds. So half the cost. I'm also going to compare this Keurig machine to some more expensive and some cheaper models. So I'll be doing a comparison video with this K-Select. If you've got any questions on this K-Select, leave them in the comments down below. I check my comments on a daily basis. Thanks everybody for your support. I hope this video helps. That's the intention of my videos, is to help others. If you could, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.